It's incredible to think how far we've come with shoe technology. And I ran Comrades for the first time 25 years ago in the original Gel-Kayano, one of the early renditions. And in those days, stability shoes were ugly, clunky, very uncomfortable. If you found the right one, you were very lucky. Along comes Asics with their Kayano. This is the 30th edition, the Kayano 30, and it's very, very different. The guys at Asics have created a new way of thinking about stability shoes. It's the 4D guidance system. And 4D guidance, I mean, there's 4 dimensions to the way it guides your foot in your running stride. So a person who's neutral runs straight down the line, probably both feet, probably for a long distance. It's unlikely that if you are into your 20, 30 marathon distance and beyond, that you're going to stay in great form. Chances are your form is going to start breaking down. And it won't be on both sides necessarily. So if you have the need over time for your foot to be controlled a little bit through the gait, here's a shoe that can do a lot of that. So what they've done is they've come up with a whole new way of thinking. This is the 4D guidance system. What that means is that it's deeper. So the stack height is higher. We've now got a 30 in the rear and a 20 in the front. That's a 10mm drop. But the foot is sitting quite low within that higher stack height. So there's some stability. It's wider. So medial to lateral, we're talking about a wider shoe. Obviously, the wider it is, like anything, like a child on a bicycle with stability wheels on the sides, the wider it is, the more stable it's going to be. Less opportunity to rock side to side. The length, so from the rear here to the front, it's in contact with the ground all the time. So the longer something is, again, the more stable it is. Think of yachts, etc. Then on the third side, so you've got width, length, and you've got depth. But the fourth side, most importantly, is where it gets really interesting. This little insert here is no longer stiff, hard, and forcing you outside. In fact, it's the opposite. So this is soft, light, and quick. It basically means that the moment your foot starts collapsing, in this case on the medial side, you will go into that position, but now instead of being forced back, you'll go through it faster, which means you've got less of the jarring outwards, which is where knee pain comes from, hip pain, instability, fatigue. This is basically getting you through that position a whole lot faster, which makes all the sense in the world. Congrats to Asics for seeing that. And I've tried it. I'm not necessarily a stability shoe wearer, but I am a big guy, and generally bigger people tend to have more force on the ground, more weight bearing, and tend to generally more likely to need a stability shoe. I can feel it absolutely instantly. It's got a very plush rear end, so the FF Blast midsole cushioning is firmer in the front but softer in the rear. They've got what they call the Pure Gel, and if you've ever seen, and maybe you should have a look online, you'll see that they can drop an egg on Pure Gel and it doesn't break, but yet they drop a metal ball and it bounces back into your hand. So there's a lot of return, there's a lot of bounce in the Pure Gel, and the FF Blast is a much softer material. So one thing Asics have done is they've made it a lot more comfortable. So stability doesn't have to feel uncomfortable. This is much more comfortable. I'm not going to say too much about the upper. It's knitted, it's comfortable, gusseted tongue, super comfy shoe. No issues there. On the run, obviously, it's not going to feel as naturally comfortable and springy and cushioned as the other shoes, the likes of the Nimbus, which we saw only earlier this year, the latest Nimbus. Lovely shoe for somebody who's doesn't have much injury issues, is fairly comfortable, only mildly supernates or pronates, probably fine in the Nimbus. When you're going to a little bit heavier and more intense need, this shoe is going to give you a lot of stability. So we've been a big fan. You'll see the grooves here on both sides, also designed to just prop you up. And the nice thing here is that if your left side is the worst side, then your right shoe is going to continue to move in a more natural direction, more neutral direction, and your left foot is then going to get the advantage of having the support. Just less time in the overpronated inward rolling position, the flat-footed position. That's where the danger lies. your knee rolling inwards, your hips then taking strain on the outside. You're just going to start taking more strain, and obviously you're into your 30th K of a marathon. The last 10 Ks is hard as it is. But when your body starts breaking down and your shoes aren't helping, you might have more problems. So I think it's a great shoe in that respect. It's 300 grams, not the lightest shoe. It's certainly a lot lighter and more comfortable than previous stability shoes. So check it out. It's there it is. Wider, longer, deeper. But now for the first time, there's a handy little widget here to get you back online faster. Nice work, Asics.